Tonight, sentenced for sex crimes. A judge's decision and message to a former Kitchener school principal about offenses involving children. Bumps in the road.
It's usually like the lower cars, the sportier cars that see the impacts.
How the region's attempt to make roundabouts safer is costing some drivers. And if walls could talk.
It was built 50 years before the Confederation, which means that it was standing before Canada was even a country.
A house with more than 2 centuries of history.
It's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and over 3,700 square feet of living space.
Is up for sale. Rodney Eckert has been placed on the sex offender registry for 20 years. The disgraced former elementary school principal, convicted for sex crimes involving students, has begun his sentence after learning his fate in a Kitchener courtroom earlier today. Good evening. The sentence involves crimes committed between 2021 and 2023. The former Kitchener principal will be behind bars at a federal penitentiary for more than 2.5 years. And as CTV's Spencer Turcott tells us, the judge who handed down the sentence hopes the healing process for the victims can now begin.
As Rodney Eckert was handcuffed and escorted out of a Kitchener courtroom Wednesday morning, a woman sitting in the row behind him shouted, "Love you, Rod." The former school principal won't be that close to loved ones for some time, spending the next 33 months behind bars at a federal penitentiary. Back in May, Justice Francis Brennan found Eckert guilty of sexual assault, sexual interference, and invitation to sexual touching involving former students. All of these offenses took place at a school where Mr. Eckert had the duty to ensure the safety of these children, she explained as she read her decision. Since Eckert was the principal at St. John Paul II Catholic Elementary School, Justice Brennan agreed with the Crown that the incidents were an egregious breach of trust and that the offenses are extremely grave. The judge told court she believed Eckert was genuinely remorseful, but disagreed with the now 60-year-old's claim that his actions were impulsive. She called it an extremely concerning pattern of behavior and said he will need to make significant rehabilitative efforts. In deciding Eckert's sentence, the judge said she considered his lack of a criminal record and health concerns. Eckert is undergoing treatment for skin cancer. In addition to the sentence, Justice Brennan imposed several conditions that Eckert will be required to follow once released, which will greatly limit his access to any minors and prevent access to social media sites. He also cannot contact his victims or their families. Just before Eckert was taken out of the courtroom in handcuffs, Justice Brennan told Eckert, "I must caution you, sir, if you reoffend, the court will have little option but to impose a much longer sentence." Spencer Turcott, CTV News, Kitchener.
To St. Catharines now, and a large protest today against a man alleged to have sexually abused a girl under the age of 5. The suspect had a court appearance this morning. CTV's John Musselman has more on the case and the outrage in the community.
Hundreds of people gathered outside the St. Catharines courthouse today. They carried signs demanding justice for a young victim, and they're calling for federal reform to the bail system. It's in connection with criminal charges filed against a 25-year-old Welland man who is accused of sexually assaulting a girl under the age of 5. Police allege Daniel Senecal broke into the family home during the night of August 30th.
We call out the Canadian lawmakers. We call out the federal government. There's no room for soft crime. Our children aren't safe sleeping in their own beds.
Way too lenient. Catch and release, early bail, all that needs to be reformed.
Senecal is facing multiple charges, including aggravated assault on a person under the age of 16, assault, choking, break and enter, and sexual interference with a person under 16.
We demand laws that protect children and not criminals.
Senecal was charged with similar offenses back in 2021, including sexual assault of a minor. According to court documents, he was sentenced to 18 months in jail. His probation order at the time of the offense barred him from being anywhere near children under the age of 18. Demonstrators say laws need to change to protect the community.
There seems to be that offenders have more rights than the victims, and that's not okay.
In a recent statement to CTV News, a spokesperson for the Justice Minister says legislation will be introduced in the fall to reform bail and sentencing in order to give police and prosecutors stronger tools to keep violent offenders off the streets. The accused in this case did not have a bail hearing today. He was remanded in custody. He will be back in court on October 15th. John Musselman, CTV News in St. Catharines.
And time now for our first check on the weather. Alex is on location tonight out at Shoe Orchards in West Montrose. Alex, I know you and I discussed this week that it is still summer, but I think we'll get rid of that rule today and talk about fall, because you're about to tell us about some fall family fun that's happening there.
Yes, it is already beginning. Hard to believe. And yes, we still have a couple of weeks of summer, just under 2 weeks to enjoy. But conditions like this, pretty beautiful if you want to check out orchards or farms like this one. Shoes just opened yesterday. They actually opened early for the season. And we're going to talk to Tim Shoe a little bit later on why they did that. But yes, there are apples. We've got pumpkins. We've got rides for the kids, tractor rides. And of course, we even have a petting zoo. So this was a big draw for me. I'm not going to lie. Big animal lover here. And yes, we've got a petting zoo. You can feed them too. Of course, you only can give them treats supplied by the orchard here. I'm going to see if a new friend here. Do you want some? Come on. Okay, we're going to see if, yes, oh, okay, we're probably hungry. I mean, I guess it is dinner time for many of us. But yes, so you can feed, again, treats that are provided by the orchard. Not my shirt, though. You're going to take a nice? Oh, there you go. There you go. Good job. Yeah, so we've got tiny horses, not ponies. I was corrected. Tiny horses. We have alpacas. There are goats, sheep. So lots of farm animals for the kids to enjoy. So lots of excitement here at Shoe Orchards. Again, they are opened so Monday right through to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. So they're going to close at 7 o'clock tonight. If you do want to check it out here this evening, you still have time. On Sundays, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. And they're expecting a pretty busy weekend since, yes, they officially opened their doors to the public yesterday and a little bit earlier than expected as well. So you can pick your own. Right now, in terms of apples, they have Gala and Honey Crisp. That's what you can get. Ambrosia are going to be a bit later in October, we're being told. So they've even got guided tours. You can see the farm, learn about the process of growing apples. There's a corn maze as well. I know when we see fall and enjoy fall, of course, we want to enjoy a little bit of that corn maze activity too, right? Like we're getting into fall farm season, which is definitely one of my favorite times of year. So definitely lots to enjoy, see and do. We're even going to explore the orchard a little bit, and maybe I'm going to learn how to properly pick an apple, because yes, apparently you can do it incorrectly. So that's going to come up a little bit later in the hour. But right now, as we take a look at our satellite and radar map, we are just seeing a bit of cloud cover here in West Montrose. Similar conditions right across southern and southwestern Ontario, but it's quite comfortable. We're not really feeling much extreme heat or humidity, really just comfortable sitting at that 22-degree mark right now in Kitchener-Waterloo. 22 it is in the City of London, 23 in Hamilton this hour. So pretty nice if you just want to enjoy with a T-shirt or maybe just a very, very light flannel shirt like we've got on here tonight. Temperatures definitely starting to cool down a little bit, but we are getting into the overnight seasonal territory where we're not seeing that 4-degree overnight low. We're getting a little bit more where we should be at this point. So we're going to be here throughout the hour to check out what Shoe Orchards has to offer. Tony, I'll send it back to you for now.
Okay, Alex, thank you so much. A Guelph man arrested for attacking an elderly woman and allegedly leaving her lying unconscious on a downtown sidewalk has now been charged with second-degree murder. Guelph police say the 80-year-old victim was found severely beaten the morning of August 31st at Wyndham Street North and Macdonnell Street. She was taken to hospital but died there 3 days later. Police arrested a 34-year-old man on the day of the attack, charging him with attempted murder and aggravated assault. Today, those charges were upgraded to second-degree murder. Investigators say the two had met, but that they were not close acquaintances. 10 children have been injured after a vehicle crash into a child care center in Richmond Hill. It happened at around 3 p.m. Police say one child was taken to the hospital with serious injuries, while 5 other children were also injured. This is a developing story, and we'll continue to follow it and have updates over on our website. A 16-year-old has been arrested and charged with first-degree murder in the death of Jave Roy. The 8-year-old boy was struck and killed by a stray bullet while in bed with his mother back in August. Now police are searching for 2 other teen suspects. CTV's Janice Golding has the latest on the investigation.
I want to start by saying how much I miss my son.
Outside the apartment where her son was killed, a bullet hole still marking the window, Holly Roy had these words for his killers.
You'll never find peace. You will never find peace. Turn yourself in. Turn yourself in. You know, do your last bit of doing something right and good.
Can help bring justice for Jave.
Toronto police announcing today they'd arrested a teenaged boy and were on the lookout for 2 others.
I kind of figured that it was youth because I don't understand how someone could be so reckless.
Police say they've arrested a 16-year-old who was 15 at the time of the crime and charged him with first-degree murder.
Upon arrest, the young person was found to be in possession of a loaded firearm.
A firearm police allege was modified to allow it to fire automatically.
Over the last 2 years, we've seen a dramatic rise of young persons being arrested with illegal firearms.
On August 17th, Jave Roy was lying next to his mother in their apartment on Martha Eden Way when gunshots rang out outside their building. The little boy sat up at the sound.
A stray bullet struck him while he was in bed in his own room. The place that should have been the safest.
Because of the severity of the crime, investigators have received judicial authorization to release the names and images of 2 other youths, 17-year-old Ibrahim and Amari Lindner, who was 17 at the time of the offense.
And that report from CTV's Janice Golding. Well, changes meant to make a busy Kitchener roundabout safer for pedestrians are creating somewhat of a divide. Some say the speed humps and raised crosswalks meant to slow traffic down are a nuisance. CTV's Hannah Schmidt now with the mixed reviews.
At one of the region's busiest roundabouts, construction is underway to make it safer for people crossing. Raised crosswalks and speed humps have been installed at Homer Watson Boulevard and Block Line Road in Kitchener. It's part of a pilot project that started in July. The speed humps and raised crosswalks are designed to force cars to slow down, giving pedestrians a safer path across multiple lanes of traffic.
It is a very good idea to slow down the traffic.
Speed bumps are meant to slow people down, so definitely they have an impact if you're driving over them pretty quick.
The region says the Homer Watson roundabout was picked for this pilot because of its high pedestrian volume, multiple traffic lanes, and collision history. But the new humps are getting mixed reviews.
I think this is a good idea, but some problem is there for the cars which are low and they are touching the ground.
It's one of those things, nobody likes them, but it's trying to make people slow down.
Online opinions are also split. Some commenters say they will avoid the roundabout at all costs, and that even though drivers were going slow, the roundabouts are very aggressive. Others say that every roundabout needs them, and that drivers should simply just slow down.
You could avoid the road or slow down. Everything's intact and solid.
Auto mechanics are also urging caution, warning that speeding over the new humps could cause damage to vehicles.
If you hit them hard enough, sometimes you might break like a coil spring or, loosen up some suspension parts. They advise, which is probably around the 30-kilometer range, and they've probably done their testing to kind of understand how fast a car can go over them. So I suggest kind of sticking to that.
The region will be watching this pilot closely to see if the changes make a difference. If they do, more roundabouts across Waterloo region could be next. Hannah Schmidt, CTV News, Kitchener.
Start your day in the know with our CTV Kitchener newsletter. Local news to your inbox, including the top stories, the latest forecast, and must-see videos. You can sign up at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Now hiring. A southwestern Ontario hiring spree sets its sights on Waterloo region for workers. Coming up, an EV battery plant in St. Thomas looking to start building its workforce.
I'm Ashley Bacon. Questions raised over who benefits from Phase 2 of the Ion Light Rail to Cambridge development. Debating where your tax dollars go versus the economic growth of a major transit project. That story just ahead.
We are still in summer officially, but it feels like fall here at Shoe Orchards in West Montrose, where pick your own apple season has officially begun. We'll have more in your full forecast coming up a little bit later.
Download the CTV News app and stay on top of local stories as they unfold.
We go to a dramatic scene unfolding.
Customize your feed and watch live wherever you are. ctvkitchener.ca, your home for news. When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
Threats made over social media led to the closure of a high school in Cambridge today. Père René de Galinée on Maple Grove Road was closed after the threats were discovered, which mentioned plans to harm students within the school on today's date. Regional police officers were on school grounds throughout the day investigating the validity of those threats. They have not provided an update. The plan to push rapid transit into Cambridge is getting a bit of pushback in the region's rural communities. The mayor of Woolwich arguing that the region's cities would benefit more from a light rail expansion than the townships will, even though everyone's paying for it. CTV's Ashley Bacon live now with more on this. Ashley, regional officials pointing out that development is a collective approach across the region, but let's zero in on what Mayor Shantz had to say.
Well, Tony, Shantz asked Regional Council to look into how the Ion Light Rail will help townships who aren't directly on the transit line benefit economically, since taxpayers in those townships will help pay for the development.
Region of Waterloo Council moving forward with planning for Phase 2 of the Ion Light Rail.
Mobility is an important piece of our economy. It's an important piece of why this is such a great place to live.
But during Tuesday's council meeting, Regional Councillor and Mayor of Woolwich Township, Sandy Shantz, raising concerns over how townships will benefit from the build.
The townships aren't benefiting from the taxes that are generated there. The cities are. The region is, and we benefit as a region, but the cities are benefiting from that tax.
A notion that doesn't sit well with Acting Transit Commissioner Doug Spooner.
I really struggle with this one because we talk a lot about area rating and how some people pay for some services and other people don't pay, when really, if we wanted a complete picture of mobility and area rating that, there's a big conversation to be had in the area of roads versus transit versus all of the mobility services we provide.
Regional Councillor and Mayor of North Dumfries, Sue Foxton, says townships receive tax benefits in other ways.
We pay collectively for regional roads. It is not because you're supporting the townships, but you're making for a mobile society.
A reflection Spooner agrees with.
Those living in the corridor enjoy tremendous benefits, improved travel and walkability in some of those. But how does somebody in a township benefit? And the kind of long story to get there is when we get more density, we get a tax uplift off of the same piece of land, and that money goes into the general region and coffers, and we spend that money on services for all residents.
A staff recommendation on the planned route is set to be presented to Council in November.
Now, the region will hold its next Phase 2 town hall on September 16th at Sports World Arena, where the public is welcome to attend and learn more about the Ion project. Tony.
Okay, Ash, thank you. CTV's Ashley Bacon with that update for us. It's called the September spike, a jump in asthma attacks as kids go back to school. CTV's health reporter Pauline Chan has more on why it happens and how to prevent it.
7-year-old Benji was diagnosed with asthma as a baby, and his mom says back to school is definitely a time when he gets more problems.
There's exposure to other children who are sick, and he gets sick easily, and when he gets sick, it leads to more asthma attacks for him.
And the Lung Health Foundation says there are other reasons for the September spike too.
There's more ragweed pollen, weather changes, and indoor factors such as dust.
During the summer, Benji takes a break from his asthma medications.
The main puffer, and in these, there's medicine. There's lots of different medicines that go in.
And in September, his family reviews his asthma plan with his doctor.
The need to talk to his pediatrician about whether to start the medication again or not.
And his school.
So the school is very much aware that he has asthma. And then if he is having a difficult episode, we send his inhaler to school with instructions for his teachers.
Signs for a flare-up usually is the persistent wheezing. So there's like a rattling noise when they're breathing. They have difficulty speaking in full sentences. Sometimes they have difficulty sleeping at night, so they're waking up a lot.
As well as sharing your asthma plan, it's a good idea to make sure all your child's vaccinations are up to date.
I could do monkey bars. I could almost skip a bar, but I can't yet.
So kids like Benji can have a healthy and successful school year. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
All right, a live look outside as we've seen a few more clouds roll in as the week has gone on. Alex is back live on location in a few moments with our updated forecast for the rest of the week. Also ahead, making the list. The Prime Minister huddles with his inner circle as we get new insight on his plans to build some big projects in the coming years. And next, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre makes 2 stops in the region. His take on how Ottawa should be handling some of the area's hot-button issues. That's next. Time to talk about the weather once again. Let's head to Alex on location at Shoe Orchards in West Montrose. Alex, it is officially fall farm season, and they've just opened their doors to the public.
Yeah, they opened officially yesterday and earlier than expected, and we're going to tell you why in just a moment. But beautiful, beautiful conditions for something like this tonight. If you want to maybe go apple picking with the kids, check out some of the farm animals. There's lots to see and do. Tractor rides, guided tours, and going to be happening right through until the end of October. So yes, we are technically still in summer, but it is feeling like fall, and I'm not complaining. And I thought maybe the flannel was going to be a little warm, but right now, cooling off a bit. I think we're pretty good. We've got Tim Chu joining us live now. Thank you so much. Really appreciate you having us here. I've got to ask too, so what can people expect to see? This is the first time you're opening it up to the public in terms of a lot of these family-friendly activities. So what can people expect this year?
Yeah, so we've got a lot of new activities this year. Our petting zoo, farm marketplace, which is full of local products, wagon rides, and actually a corn maze across the road.
Okay, so lots to see, lots to do. We were chatting a little bit before about you actually opened a little bit earlier than expected, and it has to do with the weather and the cooler overnight lows. Maybe our plants don't like it as much, but the apples apparently love it. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Yeah, so these colder weather nights that we weren't expecting actually accelerate our ripening process. The apples like the cold nights, and that's what allows the tree to push the apple off.
So you're not complaining?
No, we're not.
And we've already seen a couple families roll in here as well, some younger kids, and I'm sure the weekend, of course, will be quite busy. But what's it like for you to see all the hard work going into something like this?
Yeah, it's 4 or 5 months of growing season, and to see these apples get ripe, get red on the tree, and size up is just, as a farmer, it's the most satisfying thing.
Awesome. Okay, well, wishing you a great season. And we're going to learn, too, there's apparently a right and a wrong way when it comes to picking your own apples. And I haven't picked an apple in a very, very long time, I'll admit. You're going to show us, and there's a little technique to it.
Yes. So we are in a gala row here. So we're going to pick an apple here, maybe this one back here. There's a specific spot on the apple called the eye, and that's the eye of the apple. And it's a little rhyme here. So eye to the sky, pull, and twist. And it just pops off. So we really want to avoid pulling down on the tree. That hurts the tree. It can knock other apples off. So maybe we'll let you give it a try
And
here.
hopefully I don't waste any apples. Okay, so we want eye to the sky. So this is going down. And then just pull. Oh, look at that.
Perfect.
Perfect. So 10 out of 10.
I would say 9.
Oh, 9.
You got to come back.
9. Okay.
You got to perfect it.
Okay. I've got time to perfect. Tim, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming.
So a little tip if you have plans to come down here in terms of picking your own apples. And weather-wise, though, tonight, things are looking pretty nice. Very, very comfortable to come down here. They are closing tonight at 7 o'clock is what we're seeing during the week. So, yeah, honestly, at this point, we're just seeing a bit of cloud cover here in West Montrose, but much of southern and southwestern Ontario also seeing a little bit of that cloud start to develop. We are still enjoying, though, nice blue skies and not too much activity to report in the sense of any active weather on the way. So really, it's been a beautiful, beautiful week to enjoy the nice sunny conditions, more seasonal conditions as well. And as we get into the overnight lows too, we are getting back to that more seasonal territory. Right now, we're sitting at 22 in Kitchener-Waterloo, 20 in Goderich, 22 also in the city of London. And we're not feeling any extreme heat or humidity. So prevailing pretty much like 22 at this point. We did hit our high this afternoon of 24 degrees earlier today, so slightly above normal for this time of year. Our record high, 34.5, that was set back in 2013 on this day. And then on this day, 1975, we saw an overnight record low of just 1. So definitely cooler compared to what we were seeing this week, but even our overnight expected low for tonight, so 9. So 9 to 1. Yeah, we've got quite a bit of a difference there. So that sun now rising, believe it or not, just before 7 o'clock in the morning and setting 7:42 p.m. So overnight, partly cloudy conditions is what we can expect to see when we drop to that expected overnight low of 9 degrees. Clearing, though, as we get near midnight. So that's what we're expected to see overnight. And then tomorrow, high of 24 expected, sunny sky. But then the afternoon hours, so afternoon or so, this is where we could start to see some increasing clouds start to develop. And that UV index, similar to today, expected to be quite high at a 6. So over the next few days, Waterloo region, this is what you can expect to see. Increasing cloud, as we noted, for tomorrow with a high of 24. And then that mix of sun and cloud expected for your Friday before we could see a chance, just a 30% chance for some showers for Saturday. And it's still early, so maybe Mother Nature will change her course a bit there. Lambton, Kenton, Essex, sunny sky expected for your Thursday with a high of 25 degrees. And then when we get into the overnights, this is where we're again seeing back to the double digits, so back to a bit more seasonal or close to seasonal at least. For your Friday, mix of sun and cloud expected with a high of 26 degrees, but you potentially could see a little bit of active weather, some potential showers roll in for your Saturday. And southern Georgian Bay, similar mix of sun and cloud over the next couple of days expected with a high of 22 degrees before we could see a 40% chance of showers for your Saturday and then cloudy sky expected for your Sunday. So we've been pretty lucky again this week with all the sunshine, but I've got to say evening hours, pretty cooler, comfortable, manageable. I've got to say, Tony, perfect for my flannel, like I mentioned. I thought it was going to be a little bit warm a bit before, and it was at the start, but it's actually perfect as we get closer and closer to 7 o'clock. And yes, so plenty of apples to see and go around and lots of family fun that you can expect to see not only during the week, but of course the weekend, which I'm sure it'll be quite busy. Tony.
All right, sounds great. Alex, thank you so much from Shoe Orchards. We'll check back in with you a little bit later. Well, we learned more today about the big projects Prime Minister Mark Carney is hoping to deliver, but questions linger about how they'll be paid for. He says the upcoming federal budget will focus on spending cuts with new investments in key areas. All of this as Carney tries to distance himself from Justin Trudeau and bolster relations with Western Canada. CTV's Abigail Beeman reports.
Politics is like hockey. It doesn't build character, it reveals it.
More than a few hockey references in the Prime Minister's speech to caucus about fall priorities delivered in his hometown. Mark Carney referenced a budget with tough decisions. There are big questions about how he'll pay for big investments while spending less and which Trudeau government commitments he'll keep.
This fall, we will release a new climate competitiveness strategy that focuses on results over objectives and investments over prohibitions. Third, we will remain relentlessly focused on bringing down costs for Canadians.
Backsliding on our commitments around climate if you read values, it'll be a very odd thing for us to do.
Carney said the first major projects list will be announced tomorrow. Radio Canada is reporting no pipelines will be on it.
No one should take any lesson from the first list of projects that this is the end.
What the Liberals need to do in order to actually allow major projects to move forward is repeal C-69, repeal C-48, lift the production cap, remove the policies that they put in place that block these projects from moving forward.
Those signs point to a thawing of relations between Ottawa and Western Canada, strained in the Trudeau years.
I think there's even a thawing of tone in Danielle Smith, but she's still making a number of demands that frankly can't all be met.
The Prime Minister ends his day meeting with Premier Smith here in Alberta's capital. The pro-pipeline Premier has said she'll be pushing for action on what she calls 9 bad laws hurting the province's economy. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Edmonton.
Now, opposing some of those same projects was Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre when he made a stop in Cambridge this morning. He toured a manufacturing facility and shared his plans for building a more united country. CTV's Karis Mapp also spoke with Poilievre one-on-one to hear how he would address some of the region's biggest concerns.
Your business is thriving right now because of sales to the United States, which mercifully have not been captured by the Trump tariffs. But this is the vulnerability we have, over-reliance on one market.
Pierre Poilievre visited Waterloo Region Wednesday morning to speak to staff at Filtrec in Cambridge. The industrial filtration manufacturer wasn't previously impacted by President Trump's tariffs, but the Conservative leader said he plans to ensure they never will be.
We will be bringing home hundreds of billions of dollars of paychecks for our people. These are Trump-proof paychecks. Do not rely on the Americans for our future.
That starts with changing course on the federal government's pipeline policy.
Our plan is to pass the Canadian Sovereignty Act, which will rapidly legalize the approval of pipelines, LNG plants, more oil and gas production in Canada, so that we can get our product to world markets, and that product will require your instruments.
Other plans he spoke of include dropping the industrial carbon tax and enacting the Stand Guard Act, which will allow residents to use force and defend themselves should their home be broken into. In a separate interview with CTV News, Poilievre also addressed the federal government's temporary foreign workers policy, which he previously said he wanted the Liberals to axe altogether.
They're just looking for a better chance. But the Liberal government has so totally screwed up our immigration system that people from very poor countries are being exploited with low wages, and Canadian kids born and raised here or who have immigrated here are not able to get jobs.
Poilievre also spoke about his plans to address homelessness after a court ruled in favor of representatives of residents in Kitchener's Victoria Street encampment, putting a pause on eviction.
Our policy will be to unleash affordable home building by taking taxes and red tape out of the way, and by banning drugs and investing in treatment so that people who are stuck on the street due to addiction can become drug-free and our communities can become free of these encampments.
Poilievre finished up with his visit in Ayr at J&R Hall Transport. Karis Mapp, CTV News, Cambridge.
And you can see Karis's full interview with Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre over on our website. Our digital team has that posted at ctvnewskitchener.ca. Still standing and up for sale. Coming up, what's believed to be the oldest home in the region has hit the market.
Bounce 99.5 has the music you just can't quit. Home of Bounce Mornings with Angie Hill and Sarge. KW's Bounce 99.5. Listen on the free iHeartRadio app.
A massive EV battery plant in St. Thomas is looking to Waterloo Region in its plan to hire as many as 3,000 people. PowerCo Canada is planning to break ground on its $7 billion gigafactory in St. Thomas in the coming months. And now they've launched their recruitment campaign to find people to work there. The company, which is a subsidiary of Volkswagen Group, says hundreds of jobs described as well-paying will be available this year. They include chemists, IT professionals, engineers, and other roles. And as they get ready for this hiring spree, they have put up some recruitment billboards across Waterloo Region to draw attention to it.
We're here in the Waterloo region, so we are really focusing on this region, but we're also focusing then on the city of St. Thomas, building long-term relationship with the city and the community.
We want to get the word out there that we're hiring at the company more and more and accelerating our growth for the next few years. So we want to reach out to local and provincial partners as a result. Pay range is a very competitive package. We compare with a lot of advanced manufacturing competitors, and we ensure we have a robust package including relocation and a comprehensive benefits package as well.
And PowerCo has job information over on its website. Time to recap our top stories with Leanne Evans in studio. And Leanne, as we follow the sentencing for a disgraced former elementary school principal who's now been placed on the sex offender registry for 20 years.
Rodney Eckert, convicted for sex crimes involving students, has begun his 33-month prison sentence after learning his fate at a Kitchener courthouse today. The sentence closes a chapter on crimes committed between 2021 and 23. Back in May, Justice Francis Brennan found Eckert guilty of sexual assault, sexual interference, and invitation to sexual touching involving former students. The judge told court the now 60-year-old's actions were, quote, extremely concerning pattern of behavior. A Guelph man arrested for attacking an elderly woman has been charged with second-degree murder. Guelph police say the 80-year-old victim was found severely beaten the morning of August 31st. She was taken to hospital but died there 3 days later. Police arrested a 34-year-old man the day of the attack, charging him with attempted murder and aggravated assault. Today, those charges were upgraded to second-degree murder.
And Leanne, checking what our digital team is working on. It's the middle of September, so I knew it was only a matter of time before we'd be talking about Oktoberfest. It's time to get into the spirit.
Yeah, it is. You can, as the temperature kind of starts to change, you start to feel in the mood for Oktoberfest and turning to fall festivities as well. It takes so much to prepare for the weeks-long festival. So from those preparations to what people can expect this year, Tracy Van Kelsbeek, the executive director of KW Oktoberfest, came by the studio today to chat all things about the Big Bavarian Festival. You can watch that full interview with Tracy on our website. Scan the QR code, download the CTV News app, or go to ctvnewskitchener.ca. A little bit of a spoiler, Tony, there will be some new things taking place this year as well as some old traditions too.
Well, we'd love to hear about that. Okay, Leanne Evans, thank you very much for that.
Thank you.
A heritage home with more than 2 centuries of character is up for sale in Cambridge. It's believed to be one of the oldest homes still standing in Waterloo Region, but the historic home comes with a modern price tag. CTV's Heather Sennerin got a tour a little bit earlier today, joins us now. Heather, this home was built more than 200 years ago.
It was built in 1817, Tony, so that's roughly around the Regency period. 2 centuries later, the current owners are looking for a new buyer that they hope will preserve some of the home's rich history.
Welcome to 1490 Blair Road in Cambridge. Come on in.
Tucked away in the historic Blair Village is a local landmark up for sale, said to be one of the oldest standing homes in Waterloo Region.
I love pulling in because you come in down that winding trail, sort of. It feels like you're entering a fairy tale, and then this house is revealed with this old world charm. It's like you step back in history.
The home was built more than 200 years ago, 50 years before Confederation.
It was originally built by the Bechtel brothers. They were some of the original settlers here in Blair Village. I'm sure you've heard of Bechtel Park, so that's named after them.
A whole lot of history spread out onto the 1.4-acre space.
Yeah, so it's listed at $1,650,000. It's got 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and over 3,700 square feet of living space. And as we come in here, this would have been the original dining room.
When this house was built, most of what we know now as Waterloo Region was Waterloo Township.
There's lots of century homes around, but something that's, 200 plus years old, one of the original homes built, that's pretty rare to come by.
The owners, who have passed the home down for several generations, are looking for a very specific buyer who appreciates what the home has to offer.
Somebody that wants a home with a story, to continue that story, and then also appreciates privacy and having a big yard. It's also got 2 separate detached garages.
The city of Cambridge told CTV News the home was included in the Heritage Conservation District of Blair bylaw, meaning it is protected by certain development that would enrich the rich history behind these walls.
The realtor admits that since this is a very unique home, they do expect the sale to maybe take a little bit longer as they want to make sure the buyer is the right fit. Tony.
Okay, CTV's Heather Centerin with that story live. Heather, thank you. And coming up, we'll check in on all things TIFF today. Andrea Case is on the red carpet at the Toronto International Film Festival with more right after this.
Oh.
Turning to our TIFF coverage, it's night 7 of the film festival and the red carpet appearances continue. CTV's Andrea Case with more on today's festivities.
You represent the Prime Minister Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin as a midget.
That's not...
A deformed dwarf manipulated by oligarchs.
I think in the minds of a gagman, he's more of a child.
Actor Paul Dano understands if people confuse his fictional new film, The Wizard of the Kremlin, with fact.
I felt like it's really reflecting something back to us about our times. It is a story about how we got here today to this sort of very strange post-truth world where optics and the theater of politics plays a larger role than ever.
The year is 2019, and the geopolitical drama tells the tale of Vadim Baranov, a television producer who over 15 years transformed a seemingly uncharacteristic Federal Security Service chief into Russia's indomitable President Vladimir Putin. Directed by award-winning Olivier Assayas, a Frenchman who isn't afraid to tackle any variety of film topic, and an investigation into the making of the Russian president, he says, is timely.
I think our world is going through really striking changes. I think the politics are not the politics I knew from my earlier years. I think, and I think, you know, when you make movies, either you can turn your back to that. I mean, you can turn your back to modern history, or you can try to confront it in a...
That was CTV's Andrea Case reporting. Let's check in now with Omar to find out what's coming up later tonight.
Tonight, a prominent conservative ally of Donald Trump is fatally shot at a public event.
You just hear the gunshot and I'm sorry.
What we are learning about the shocking shooting on a university campus. Later on CTV National News.
Beautiful conditions for some pick your own apples here at Shoe Orchard. So take a look, though, at how cool it could get to start off your day in wake of weather coming up after the break. Here's a look at your Wednesday night lineup at 7 o'clock. It's Match Game before Master Chef at 8. Then Gordon Ramsay's Secret Service before back-to-back episodes of Shifting Gears.
It's Jeff, KP, and Backstage Ben in the morning.
3 awesome people that want to start your day or finish your overnight shift.
You'll laugh, you'll text, you'll call, you'll scratch your head, and maybe even beat Backstage Ben. Weekday mornings from 5:30 to 10.
Listen live on the iHeartRadio app or at 105.3 Virgin Radio.
And let's check in with Leanne for some developing news we're following. Leanne.
Yeah, Tony, we have an update to provide you on that crash in Richmond Hill. We now know a toddler has died. 6 other children are hurt after the vehicle crashed into a daycare. The crash happened around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Police say initial information tells them the SUV was in the parking lot at the time and for unknown reasons drove through the front of the daycare window. 10 victims were initially taken to hospital. The 1.5-year-old boy died a short time later. This is a developing story still, so we'll bring you the latest at 11:30, Tony.
Yeah, we'll certainly have an update on what we can learn tonight. Okay, Leanne, thank you so much for that. And let's check back in now one final time with Alex Pinto, live on location at Shoe Orchards in West Montrose. Apple picking, a corn maze, petting zoo. Sounds like fall is in the air, Alex.
Oh, yes, and it sure is feeling it, too. I've got to say, it's even just from the last half hour or so, we are noticing the temperature starting to dip. So, yes, flannel was definitely a good choice. Maybe a light sweater for this evening. And we're officially the last ones here. We saw a couple of families coming by to pick some of the apples. But, yes, plenty to do here. Shoe officially opening yesterday. So, Tuesday, September 9th. That was day one, welcoming families near and far to the property here. You are interested in checking it out. The good news, they're actually open weekdays right through until 7 o'clock. So Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. if you want to take the kids here. And then on Sunday, if you maybe are looking for something to do on the weekend, 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So yes, they've got pick your own apples, tractor rides, guided tour. You can check out the farm, learn about the process as well of growing apples. Like you noted, Tony, a corn maze too. They've got the petting zoo, which we saw a little bit before too. We had a chance to feed a tiny horse. They've got alpacas, goats, sheep, and tiny horses. So the Shoe family farm's actually been in Elmira farming since 1918, but they acquired this property in 2013. So this is the first time they're actually opening it up to the public in terms of these family-friendly activities to this level. So the orchard, 62,000 trees on 50 acres. So they got 26 acres of galas, 2 acres of ambrosia, and 22 acres of Honeycrisp. Ambrosia, though, that is going to be in season more and rather of October. In terms of conditions right now, yes, a little bit cooler, but when we look at your wake-up weather by 6 a.m. for tomorrow, partly cloudy conditions to start off your day. We're going to be sitting at 12 degrees, so a little bit warmer than what we've been seeing earlier in the week. By 8 o'clock, we should be seeing a mix of sun and cloud, and then by 10, hitting 18 degrees or so. So we've been really lucky weather-wise this week, and even for this evening, perfect conditions for some apple picking. Tony.
Sounds good, Alex, and I love that you have the whole lineup of apples incoming as well to remind us about. Looking forward to that harvest for sure. Okay, that is our time. Thanks for watching. We'll be back here tonight at 11:30, right after the CTV National News. Have a good night.